The former president took part in two televised town halls that both aired Wednesday, one on Fox News and another on Univision. During the Fox News town hall, which included an all-female audience, Trump spoke on the topic of in vitro fertilization, or IVF, which Harris later reacted to.
IVF, you had mentioned before.
Right,
IVF.
let's get this question, because I believe that's what this is about.
Oh, I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't hear that every day.
I'm the father of IVFs. I got a call from Katie Britt, a young, just a fantastically attractive person from Alabama. She's a senator. And I said, explain IVF very quickly. And within about 2 minutes, I understood it. I said, no. We're totally in favor of IVF.
I found it to be quite bizarre. Actually, he called himself the father of IVF. And if what he meant is taking responsibility, well, then, yeah, he should take responsibility for the fact that 1 in 3 women in America lives in a Trump abortion ban state.
Voters in some states have already cast their ballot. One day after Georgia broke a state record for early voting turnout, a judge struck down controversial new rules, including one that would have required the hand counting of ballots on Election Day. The judge also blocked a rule that included ambiguous language requiring officials to conduct reasonable inquiries before certifying election results. CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Edo Keefe joins us now from what looks like a beautiful, crisp fall day in Milwaukee. Ed, how is Trump's campaign explaining those comments about IVF?
Yeah, these were the comments he made yesterday, Lindsay, in that Fox News town hall that aired today, where he suggested he was the father of IVF. They basically are laughing it off, saying it was a joke and that the press should get a sense of humor. The issue is this remains a pretty sensitive and important topic to many voters, including the voters, many of them he was trying to reach with this town hall, women voters. We've seen polling. We've talked to them across the country, many of whom say they're concerned about this. This was his opportunity to address the issue, and what he suggested was that states over time will probably loosen those more severe restrictions on access to abortion services, believing that some states have gone too far. We'll see if that happens. There are those, of course, that argue it shouldn't have been that way at all, that Roe v. Wade should still be in place. But notable that what was designed to be an attempt to assuage the concerns of women voters who might be worried about this, or all voters for that matter, was instead once again dominated by an offhand comment he made that once again his campaign is writing off as merely a joke.
Earlier, Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, was asked about the 2020 election during an event in North Carolina. Let's go ahead and watch.
I've answered this question directly a million times. No. I think there are serious problems in 2020. So did Donald Trump lose the election? Not by the words that I would use.
As we know, Trump has falsely maintained he won the election. What do voters on the trail tell you about remarks like these?
I mean, this is part of what his base wants to hear. But let's remember, as you said, it's not reality. Joe Biden won the presidential election. What continues to happen is J.D. Vance twists himself into this rhetorical pretzel, appearing to try to have it both ways. What does that even mean? Not by the words I would use did he lose the election. Look, facts are that he lost the election. There are Trump supporters, Trump Vance supporters who believe otherwise and need to have that affirmation, it would seem, as the vice presidential candidate continues traveling to places like North Carolina and Pennsylvania. And, you know, his team may be frustrated that the press continues to focus on it, but the reason, in part, is because his answer on it continues to change as he one day suggests one thing and another says something like what he said today. Either way, if that's what the Trump campaign believes will help turn out supporters in the coming days as early voting begins and ahead of Election Day, we'll see if it works. Also watch as they continue to answer questions of whether or not they plan to respect the results of this year's elections. You've heard a lot of Republican candidates from Trump on down suggest, well, if the results are fair, or now you're seeing an increasing number of them suggest, well, as long as we make sure that undocumented immigrants aren't voting in big numbers. That has never been the case. It's not expected to be again this year, but so many Republicans now focused on that potential concern as the voting begins.
I want to ask you about what strategy you take away from Harris's interview with Fox News and her increased media presence.
Well, two things are happening today. Both of them, Harris and Trump, are stepping outside their television comfort zones. She being the first Democratic presidential nominee to talk to Fox since Hillary Clinton did so back in 2016. Trump holding this town hall meeting with women voters, and also tonight appearing in a town hall meeting with Univision and a handful of Spanish-speaking or Latino undecided voters, facing, based on the early clips, some pretty tough questions on his stance on immigration and what would happen if people are deported, or whether he really believed that dogs were being eaten by Haitian immigrants in Ohio. Not the kind of stuff he's been getting necessarily from interviews with Newsmax or Fox or other conservative outlets. For her, we'll have to wait and see what the clips suggest or how it went. But it's designed to say to voters, look, I'm willing to face tough questions from Fox. I'm willing to face tougher questions in the black media space from Charlamagne tha God, who has not always been a sympathetic voice supporting her candidacy, either now or in the past. I'm willing to face those tough questions. Is he? Or is he spending more time with friendly podcast and talk show hosts who may be supportive of him and may not be asking him tougher questions? Whether that strategy works or not, Lindsay, also remains to be seen. But it is designed to reach that small handful of undecided voters here in Wisconsin and in the other battleground states, and maybe disaffected Republicans who are uneasy with reelecting him, which is part of why she also held that rally today in suburban Philadelphia.
Edo Keefe, thank you.